Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, together with my co-host Mark Ronich of Statewide News Service and jbiztechphilly.com, and now columnist for the Jewish Press.
Right, now the Jewish Press is a nationally distributed weekly newspaper for the Orthodox Jewish community, and I have a column there called Albany Beat, and I talk about how government relates to the Jewish community, or doesn't, as the case may be. And but today we have we take a little bit of a turn away from government and politics, and we have with us the executive director, the relatively new executive director of the Albany JCC, or the Sidney Albert Albany Jewish Community Center, Adam Chaskin. So Adam, welcome to the Jewish View.
Thank you very much.
It's a real pleasure to have you here.
Honored to be here today. Thank you.
And you come, what, via Schenectady JCC? Or?
I did before working. I've been 9 months here at the Sidney Albert Albany JCC, and before that I did work as the assistant director at the Schenectady JCC for a couple of years.
So how was that experience between Schenectady and Albany? I mean, are they equal in terms of activity, in terms of membership? I mean,
the Albany JCC is slightly bigger in several areas, just physical size of the building. It's about 5,000 to 6,000 square feet bigger. Membership is, about a third more membership-wise. Programming-wise, Albany JCC has a very large early childhood program and the Schenectady JCC has a very large after-school program comparatively. So they have a much larger after-school, in fact, one of the larger after-school programs in the country, Schenectady has. So that's, and we both have fitness centers and pools and such, so there's a lot of similarities.
Well, truth be told, in full disclosure, 23 years ago, 1993, I worked at the Albany JCC, and I was teasing you. I said, before you were born, but you're like hardly, so I don't know how old you are, but you certainly could pass.
I thought Adam was here to help us work out. I have to tell also, full disclosure, that I work out 3 times here I am, obviously an Orthodox rabbi, but listen, you have to have people say, Rabbi, you're at the JCC. I say, you have to have a healthy neshama, healthy soul inside of a healthy body. So it does work together, and I appreciate the JCC for having a Jewish environment that even you can work out with.
So, and such as separate swimming for men and women.
There's a lot of programming that caters to the Orthodox community needs.
Yeah, so keep up the good work.
Certainly. I mean, obviously fitness and health and wellness in general in a lot of different ways, fitness being one of the ways, is extremely important to all people, but is definitely a value of the Jewish faith and something that's very important to us to help promote at the center.
And you still have a kosher kitchen?
Yes, we do.
Just as Schenectady also has a kosher kitchen?
Yes.
We're here already talking about it. Might as well bring in. We should have had Mark Weintraub here.
I think Mark's on vacation right now.
Oh, well,
but
there you go.
Certainly, we serve Monday and Wednesday. We serve senior. We have a senior meal program. If you're not a senior, you're still able to come. Just there's a donation that's requested for coming to that meal program on Monday and Wednesday nights. I know out at Schenectady they have a lunchtime program during there, so you can go to Schenectady for lunch and come to Albany for dinner and get your kosher meals in.
So so on Monday and Wednesday, sometimes there are programs attached to the meal.
Certainly are. Claire Siegel is our senior director, does a fantastic job with programming, and
she was there when I was there. So
she definitely
she's there for a long time.
Long-time valuable asset of the JCC, and very often, as you said, before programming, she'll bring in guest lecturers and speakers to talk about a wide variety of topics.
Right.
Sometimes she brings in entertainment acts, so it's a little less intellectual and just more pure fun and enjoyment. But it's enjoying, and their auditorium where they eat is right across from my office, so it's nice to be able to walk out on Monday and Wednesdays a little before 5 and join the group sometimes and just hear the discussions.
You have dinner too.
Every once in a while, I eat with them too, but so a lot of times I'm neglectful to put my reservation in, so I don't want to. I want to make sure everyone has enough food beforehand.
So you got to also have a reservation.
We do ask that you call by 9 a.m. that morning, so we just make sure we have enough food for everyone that's coming.
And what's the cutoff age for a senior? I hate to ask this because of AARP and all that.
Yes, so we are a little higher than AARP. We are 65 and over.
Really?
Yes, but you are welcome to. If you're not 65, you're welcome to come. There's just.
But then people are going to think I'm 65.
No, there is a recommended donation to help cover with the program.
And what is the recommended donation?
It's a small.
Like $10.
It's less than that. Yes, it's less than that. And the reason for that is we do this program in partnership with the Albany City Department of Aging. And so we do have some government regulations, you were mentioning the government before, that we do have to follow because they do subsidize part of the funding for this program.
Now, do you, when I worked at the JCC, I worked there from 93 to 95, and I was the membership and marketing director, but I would always come in early, and I'd work out from like 7:30 to 8:30, shower, get changed, and then go to work at 9 o'clock. So do you do something similar? Are you working out there? You look healthy, you look in shape. So.
I actually don't have yet to work out at the JCC. I do exercise. I'm fortunate to have some equipment in my home, mostly as a result of my children, who are very good athletes. But so I take advantage. I get up most mornings early, 5:30, and we'll go downstairs and exercise, shower, and head to work.
You know, since it is the Jewish Community Center and this is the Jewish View, I want to talk a lot about the Jewish programming. And the Chabad has joined together with the JCC, and we like working with them because, again, like I say, Jewish Community Center, it really is a beautiful idea that everybody can get together. I mean, obviously you have different segments of Jewish life and say, well, we're this and we're not that and we don't go to that. And here, like, everybody is welcome, as just even Mark's bringing out. There's kosher, so even if you're Orthodox, someone non-Orthodox obviously can eat kosher too. So it's something that, you know, it's just something that the whole community can get involved with. One of the bigger things of, I know, I mean, you could talk about it. I know that Purim gets the carnival. It's something for the kids, for our viewers. I mean, I know you know Mark over here. But
no, but certainly, I mean, being a Jewish community center, we will not lose sight of the Jewish part of that. Even though we do service the entire community, it's important that we are a place where all Jews, no matter what their affiliation or lack of affiliation, feel comfortable coming, and that they can grow. We talked about, you know, health and wellness, that we want the JCC to be a place where all Jews can come and grow spiritually, mentally, and that happens with various programming, as you alluded to. We have the Purim Carnival, which is open to the entire community. We recently had a Leg Bomer celebration for the entire community. We did a Hanukkah candle lighting for the community. So right now we're doing a lot of individual around some of the holidays events. We also, you know, in partnership with Chabad, have some activities that come in for the kids, where they can learn how to make certain things, the shofar and such for the different holidays.
The Hanukkah menorah.
Yeah, Hanukkah menorahs. And one thing that a position that does not currently exist, and you know didn't exist when I came into play, is an actual Jewish cultural director, and that is a position that's extremely important to me to be able to hire in the near term. Of course, you know, when you hire someone, that means money, and so there's some budgetary restraints, but that, and having been there less than a year, but it's something that'll be very important. Probably be the first position we add to the center.
Sam Shore used to be the Jewish cultural director.
Just many years ago also.
Of course, many years ago, because I'm so old. Of course, everything is many years ago. No, but Arit Magnus was at Schenectady JCC.
Yep, just recently retired. Fantastic.
Yeah. And I forgot who the name of the woman who took over.
Judy Ben-Ami has taken over at Schenectady.
Ben-Ami. Now, I like people to get to know you as an individual and not just as your title. So we always ask first-timers some personal questions just so that you can. So we already heard that you have 2 kids?
I have 2 boys, yep.
2 boys. And which I presume, looking at your finger, that you also have a wife.
Yes, I do. I think I still do. We'll find out when I go home, but no.
And how old are you?
I am 45.
45.
Yes.
And where do you live and where do you go to shul? And
certainly. So we live in Niskuna, right on the Niskuna-Schenectady border. We're members of Congregation Gates of Heaven out in Schenectady. Been married, it will be 22 years later this year, in October.
Very nice.
And have a 19-year-old son who just finished his freshman year at the University of Michigan studying engineering, and have a 17-year-old son who just finished his junior year of high school at Niskuna High School.
Oh, very nice. And what was your background? Where did you go to college? And
certainly, I also went to the University of Michigan, where my son is. That's also where I met my wife, so there's a little bit of household tradition there.
It's a big sports school.
It is a big sports school. I also have an engineering degree from the University of Michigan. But my primary background before getting into the nonprofit world was actually in the world of basketball. I was a college basketball coach for many, many years. And what originally brought me to this community was I did a period of time coach at Siena College here in the Capital District.
Okay. So are you coaching the basketball teams at the J?
So I have not coached.
That could get you into trouble.
Yes, so I'm not coaching the team at the J, but I am involved with Maccabi USA. For those of our viewers who might not be familiar, Maccabi is a sporting event that's for Jewish athletes. Every 4 years in Israel is the Maccabiah. It's the third largest sporting event in the entire world, right behind the Summer and Winter Olympics. This summer, actually, I'll be in Berlin, Germany, coaching one of the USA national teams at the European Maccabi Games. I actually leave on the 21st
So
of
they
this
give
month.
you the time off for that. That's very good. Very nice.
And I have coached with even when I was working at Siena College, my first experience with Albany JCC was as a volunteer coach for the JCC Maccabi Games. So I've been a volunteer with the Albany JCC for several years for that.
So I grew up in Brooklyn, and I always called it Maccabee.
It's tomato,
games,
tomato.
You know? And then I came up here, and everyone started calling it Maccabi, and I thought it was macabre, you know, which is like, wow, what are these games? Macabre games, you know. So anyway, it's my, you know,
Brooklyn
downstate,
accent
upstate.
already,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. So you know, basketball seems to be now. The Michigan, are they the Wolverines?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I got that right.
Yes.
Okay. You got to know these things, you know. So
You're a SUNY guy. So.
I am a SUNY guy,
Do
and
they
I'm
even
proud
have
of
a
it.
basketball team there in SUNY? Or?
No, we got good football. But what's your involvement as, you know, a resident? I mean, do you take off your executive director hat at some point and just sort of blend in and just or do people come up to you, and I mean this respectfully because it happened to me, you know, and while you're working out or while you're doing something else, they'll say, hey, you know, what about this? What about this? What about this?
Well, that's part of the reason why I don't work out at the JCC, is because my experience when I was working at Schenectady JCC is that sometimes it's hard to get through a whole workout without being interrupted, and that's kind of my time. And so I just find it easier, instead of potentially offending a member, that's the primary reason I don't work out at the JCC, and I choose to do it at home, just for that purpose, so that when I'm at work, I'm fully available to the members and the staff for whatever their needs might be. In the community, you know, now, not as much. When I was coaching, I got stopped a lot more for people to ask questions of me than I do as now that I'm in the the JCC nonprofit world.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the other things is the day camp, which is very big, and I think someone told me, obviously, that the nursery program is one of the biggest in Albany.
It is our early child care program, which starts at age 2 months and goes up through kindergarten programs, is the largest in the whole capital region.
Oh, really?
Currently, we have about approximately 245 children enrolled, all listed from age 5 on down to 2 months. And you mentioned summer camps. We do right now have summer camps going on, starting at age 3 on up through 15.
Camp Olam.
We have starts with Camp Toph for the youngest ones, the 3 to 5-year-olds. Then we have Camp Olam, which is located on our beautiful lake property up near Grafton Lake, and that goes up through school age, elementary school. And then we have a teen camp, which is at Warner Lake, not far from the JCC also, where they get to go water skiing. They use motorboats for
Not
the teen
far
camp.
from Camp Giva.
No, not at all.
Which is in Bern,
Yep.
right? Okay.
So-
Just thought I'd mention.
Yeah, no. So, and you know, right now it's been a great summer. We were only a week and a half in, and so if we can have a few less rainy days like we had our first week, it'll even be better. But we've only had to have alternate rain plans on one day so far.
Do you go out and visit the camps?
Certainly do. You
You
know,
do.
I am. I'm not necessarily out there every day, but
No.
But especially with this being my first year, also I'm making a point to be out several times and at different times of the day, so that I can see the different elements of camp.
Do you, and you have a setup for food over at the Grafton?
Yes. So most of the campers do bring their own lunches. We do have an option for people to order kosher lunches ahead of time, so that the families can sign up for that, and we provide that and have it delivered up there.
What's your relationship with Terra, the kosher restaurant that opened up?
Right now, not a lot. We have had them cater some events at the JCC, and certainly we've assisted in publicizing by handing out brochures and flyers and posting it on our community board the information about the restaurant.
Now, this is I got sidetracked from this question. When it goes back to the early childhood, when someone wants to enroll their child in early childhood, they have to sign up as a member of the JCC.
Yes, by signing up for early childhood, you actually are a member. It's all included. I guess it's all a little how you word it, but you are a member when you sign up for our early child care program.
And there are a lot of non-Jewish
Certainly.
Families who sign up for early childhood because it's such a good environment, safe environment, because they know that their child will be cared for properly. then there's no question about it. You
Yes,
know?
no.
So just to let that was my personal experience, you know.
Well, thank you, I'm glad.
You know,
So thank you for bringing that up. I mean, we're fortunate that, you know, you're not the largest for year after year without also having high quality. And, you know, Sharon Mudge is the director of our early childhood program, and she and her staff do an outstanding job of taking care of the young children that we have here and nurturing them and educating them.
she's been there 20 some odd years also.
Yes,
you know,
she's been there quite a while.
There's
And
very little turnover at the J. There
And-
must
and-
be a good reason for it.
And we hear lots of positive feedback from the school systems of how our children are so well prepared when they do go into elementary schools. So it's an outstanding program, one we're very proud of. And one
Yeah,
that-
oh, absolutely. And I'm just saying that, you know, so you're attracting based on the good, the wonderful care that you give to the preschoolers, you attract the non-Jewish population.
Certainly do.
Just, it's not that you're looking for a non-Jewish population. But, you know, what, 60% of your membership is non-Jewish? Or
It's
is
actually
it
probably a
high?
little closer to 65, actually.
65,
Yeah, it's not
yeah.
Jewish.
Talk about, I mean, even though you,
Now,
you
what's
don't
your,
have.
wait, I was just asking, what's your membership number?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
So
I mean,
we
it's,
measure in what's called in units, and you probably remember from when you're there. So it's household units. We're approximately 1,450 household units right now. That translates to a little over 5,000 people.
I mean, one single person who signs up is a unit. He could be
One
a unit.
household. So if you're a single person, you're a unit. If you're a family of 4 or 5, you're a unit.
Right.
So that's why
But the total's like 5,000 people.
right, and that does not include our senior programs because we service throughout the year approximately 4,000 seniors
Are
throughout the
you
year.
related, is that meal program related to Meals on Wheels or anything with the federal government?
I mean, we do get funding from the Department of Aging for our meal program, which I think also supports Meals on Wheels, but we don't have a direct connection.
You don't have a direct connection,
But
okay.
the seniors you were saying don't have to be members?
No,
you're
all of
saying,
our
so
senior
that-
programs, we have a beautiful senior center in addition to the meals where seniors can come any time that the center's open, which is 5:30 in the morning till 10 at night during the week and 7 o'clock on the weekends. And there's activities going on, whether it's something as simple as playing bridge or mahjong with friends, or there's, you know, painting classes, singing classes. There's a wide variety of activities in our senior program.
And don't forget, you have the Jewish War Veterans meeting and you have a Jewish War Veterans room.
Certainly, right near our front entrance, when you walk in, the first room you come to is our Jewish War Veterans room, and there's some terrific memorabilia in there that you can see of some of the history from previous wars, World War II and World War I. And yes, the Jewish War Veterans in our local chapter do meet at our location.
It's all about food in the Jewish religion. You know, it's all about food. Did you, I know at the Schenectady JCC they had this time capsule. You know, are you doing anything in terms of, you know, historically to?
We actually have a small committee. If you want to join, we are looking for more members we're doing a Jewish history of Albany. And the end goal is to have an exhibit that will be on display, not only at JCC, but will be portable to go throughout the community.
I already wrote the history of Jews in Albany.
Right,
I
so-
did
I'll be
for
on the committee, Mark.
Yeah,
the
so I
Albany-
know your background, so there's certainly, we're looking at it, you know, because the JCC, this is actually our 100th year of existence.
Okay.
It was founded in 1915, and so we don't have anyone left from when it was founded, but we do have some people that weren't much past that we've been able to reach out to, and we're going through our, some people have brought in some personal memorabilia. The JCC had some files that were been sitting in storage for a long
I should
time.
give this to you then. This says,
Show it to
get
the
centered
people.
at the JCC. So,
So-
get centered at the old AJCC. So there's
That's
a
part
button
of
from the
pushing
past.
it.
And I thought I would just bring this in. So
All right,
here
Thank
you
you.
You can have
There
it
you
for
go.
memorabilia.
Now you got more
Put Mark
memorabilia.
on the
I
committee.
didn't
needs
expect to give it
be
to you, but go ahead. I'm sure I have 2 or 3 more.
Well, that's what I was going to say about I mean, you haven't been here for a long time, you know, say 5 years, 10 years compare, but so far, how is the membership going in the day camp?
Certainly. So our membership numbers are up over about 24% this calendar year.
Well, that's very excellent.
We went to a new membership model starting January 1, where we now offer month-to-month memberships, so you don't have to have a long-term commitment. And we also reduced our rates to be much more competitive. In camp, we're having a great year with camp. We're also up over 20% over last year's numbers.
That's very good. Those are
so-
excellent.
So
Well, you
things are going
certainly
quite
with
well.
the bus board, with the bus wraps, you know, that
Yes.
certainly does help.
Yeah, we get a lot of positive feedback from those bus routes. A lot of people,
And
a lot more than I ever expected, to be honest, come in saying, "Oh, well, you know, we always ask people, how'd you find out about us?" And a lot of people mention the ads on the back of buses.
Now, let's also say that you changed your logo
Yes.
to just a red J or something to that effect.
Right, yeah, the color sometimes changes. It's usually a blue or red square with a white J hollowed out of it. That's in uniformity with our national organization, JCCA, the National JCC Association, who came up with a new branding guidelines, which I've been waiting for. You know, I've only been in the JCC field for a few years, so I've been waiting for a few years, and certainly I know many people have been waiting for many more years. So there's a more uniform look. So as you go for work or just you happen to move, you know, and you see that branding, you'll know what's available to you.
It's interesting because just around the time that you changed, I noticed that there was another company, I forgot which company it was, who also has the J as their logo.
Oh, okay.
And it's something that's totally unrelated to the fitness and, you know.
Is there something, say the JCC, even though it's an organization, we said Schenectady to Albany, but it really is a national organization. Do you work with them, and what do you gain really if you are working together?
Certainly. So the one thing about the JCC world that has impressed me from the first time I started working in it is the amount of collaboration. There is no secrets. Everyone wants to help each other. We have a very extensive listserv that you can put a question out. Who has this type of program and how do you run it? You'll have answers that day. People will send you everything so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't like to reinvent the wheel. It's not what I like to do. So you get that help. The actual national office is located in New York City, and they have staff there that has a lot of experience. A lot of them are former employees at JCCs in various areas, and so they have certain expertise from having worked at several JCCs, whether their expertise is in membership or fitness or Jewish cultural, early childhood, you know, camping. They have multiple different experts that can come and consult with you and give you ideas that maybe you didn't think of. And all that's included being a member of the association.
Talk to us about the Pillars dinner.
Certainly.
That you started, that was started before you came, but
Yes.
you know, it's, what is it, 20 years now that
It's been over 20 years that we've been having the Pillars.
And you honor 3 people?
Every year we honor 3 members of the community, 3 pillars of the community. It's a brunch that has the last few years been held in April time frame.
It used to be a dinner. And
Right, yeah, so I understand it's been moved around. I guess at one time it was in the fall and one time was a dinner. So the last few years at least, it's been a Sunday brunch in the spring, which at least at the moment, that's what we plan on continuing for next year also. And it's a terrific opportunity to honor people who have contributed to the Jewish community, to the JCC, and the community at large. Not everyone that's honored every year is a member of the Jewish community. They're just people who have helped benefit the Jewish community sometimes. And it's just our way of giving back and recognizing the great works that these people have done.
And it's a big fundraiser for you.
Certainly, there is a charge to come, and so we do take advantage of being able to raise some funds.
It certainly is, you know, necessary, and you know, you certainly can't rely on the federation. I mean, they give you a good chunk of money, but you can't rely on them for the, you know, and it's public information what
certainly.
they give you. But approximately how much do you net from the Pillars dinner?
I mean, it changes every year. I mean, this year was a better year, but we'll net.
Is it 6 figures, 5 figures?
No, it's a 5-figure. I mean,
It's
the net number, you know, profits is somewhere depending on the year, and it's anywhere from 20 to 40, depending on the given year.
That's the net.
Yes, is the net.
But how's the general budget? You don't have to exact numbers, but I mean, are you making it, or is it the Jewish community?
I mean, you mentioned fundraising, and one of the things I mentioned, I had lower rates. We do our best to keep our costs under control, both internally but also to our customers, and we do rely on fundraising as a significant part of our budget through various means, whether it's events, the federation you mentioned, individual giving. There's a wide variety of types of fundraising, and that makes up, you know, 10% or a little more of our budget is just straight fundraising. One thing that we are starting to do is try to increase our scholarship budgets through fundraising, so that when people who can't afford some of the programs, even though we do our best to keep the costs low, whether it be just membership, whether it be childcare, camp, whatever it might be. One of my main focuses and some of the things I've been soliciting funds since I've arrived is to increase our amount that we can provide in scholarships so that we don't have to turn anyone away.
Do you find that it's important for you to be there at the meeting for these people who give large donations? It's just not a fundraising, director of fundraising who goes, but it's important for you to go with the director of fundraising?
Yes, certainly. I mean, and certainly any donor, but especially you mentioned, you know, some of the higher level donors. I think it's extremely important that they that I have a chance to meet with them, make sure I understand what their wishes are for the money they're donating and the investment. You know, I don't look at the money that anyone gives, whether it's $1 or it's a much more significant amount, as really a donation. I view it as an investment. It's an investment in the center, it's an investment in the community, and people want to know what's going on with their investments and what's the return on their investments.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story of 1994. The JCC was looking for a senior van, and one of the Fritzy Becker was a member, and her brother is Kirk Douglas.
Oh, okay.
And she wrote to him, and he sent a check for $2,500 towards the van.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I thought it was wonderful, and especially I photocopied it and I still have it. See the signature. I mean, it's okay. I don't have to. You know, I think the statute of limitations is over. But I mean, it's just one of those things that you know. How many people then said to me, "Well, you could have put another zero on there." You know, it's like, but you know, as a fundraiser, you look at it and you'd be thankful for whatever you get. But
right.
you know, we had this. Like a United Way thermometer of, you know, going up to inspire people to give money for the van, and we raised enough money for the van.
Terrific.
You know, and so it's, you know.
Well, it's rare that you're going to get someone to give a very significant amount of money the first time they ever help the organization. It's a building, it's a relationship, and so yes, you should be very fortunate that he gave $2,500, and if a relationship had been cultivated, maybe there would have been a chance to get another or more down the line. Well, but that's just, you know, how fundraising works.
That's right.
It's, as with most things in life.
Amsterdam. You knew
I did not know that.
Oh, that's
local,
why, because he grew up in Amsterdam, and with his two sisters.
Families,
yeah.
Okay.
And you
well,
know,
then maybe that's Adam's job over here to
cultivate that a little. Well, there used to be a JCC in Amsterdam at the time too. So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, we have a very rich Jewish community in the Greater Capital District, and you know, shameless plug. You know, my website jbiztechvalley.com lists all the congregations that we have in the Greater Capital, 16 county.
JCC's in there?
And absolutely.
Yes,
in
there
fact,
you go.
In fact, I didn't know it was his first day, but I came in to see who the executive director was and say, hi, I'm starting this website. And he says, good, I'm starting my job. I got to, you know, and you were very gracious. You came out, you spoke to me for 3-4 minutes, and, you know, you had nothing to say. I had nothing to say because we were both starting at the same time. So now it's, and we've, you know, developed a friendship, and I appreciate that.
Certainly.
So, you know, I really think that, you know, the Cybex and everything that you have at the fitness area and the indoor pool and the outdoor pool really adds a lot to this whole area, and you do a great job with the environment and keeping even the outside community around Whitehall Road a healthy, safe area, and that's very important. When I was there, I was given the task to have a celebration for the anniversary of the outdoor pool.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the 10th anniversary, 20th anniversary, I don't remember what it was. But I had joint legislative resolutions passed in both houses of the state legislature. I had the Common Council, the county legislature. I had all these proclamations and resolutions, and we had a big riser, and we had cameras, and we had all these people on a hot summer day, you know, and we had more elected officials and government people than we had in the audience. You know, they were there up on, and they didn't care. They would talk to anyone, you know, even if we had 3 people, and I was just dying because, you know, you want to show an audience, you know. Of course. And you had like 20 people on the riser, and they all wanted to say something, and you had like 5 people.
Come to the outdoor pool over here.
But we, you know, we made the best of it, and I was happy to, you know, to have the opportunity, you know, to honor a pool. I never, you know, I was given this assignment. I said, how do you honor a pool? You know, and I started to, you know, my creative juices started to flow. You know?
All right. So everything is good over here, Mark? Are you
good.
going to exercise more now that we?
I don't know. What's the what is it month to month? For a single guy.
For a single guy, you know, I don't have our rates memorized right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll come see you.
Yeah,
we'll
please,
make a special deal. Okay.
Please do. Please come on in.
Well, that's the. Oh, I know what. You know, nowadays when we have, we don't have a set family. You know, I used to do this when people would come in. They were just friends. and they thought it was too high to have 2 single memberships. I'd say, well, say you're a couple, even if they were 2 guys or 2 girls. Say you're a couple, and we'll give you the couple membership. You know?
We call that a 2-person rate now.
A 2-person rate.
To make sure, with all the political definitions of what couples are and are not, we call it a 2-person rate.
That's very sensitive.
So we also started a single-parent family rate, which we never had before also.
And what about the dressing rooms? Because that was a big deal, unisex, or parent-child
right.
having...
So where there's a male locker room,
Yeah.
there's a female locker room,
Right.
and then there is a unisex/family changing area.
There
also.
is?
Yes.
Okay, because we were trying to figure out for a long time how to make that happen, and
Yes.
okay, I'm glad you figured it out.
There is.
Okay, now I'm done. Thank you.
Now we can start exercising. Listen, Amber, you're doing great work, even though you haven't been here for a long time. You're doing some very good success, and you continue with the good success and helping out the entire Jewish community, which is really, I think, very, very important in its own right, because you have so many different segments. Here's a center, Jewish Center, where everybody can join together and feel at home. Continue good work and do it with good health.
Much
Thank you
success
very
to you, madam, very much.
Thank you very much.